This podcast today is brought to you by Our 365. Our 365 is all about inspiring people in organizations, in business, to be the very, very best that they can be. We know that organizations function so much better when the people who work in the businesses are fired up. They're in the best possible place they can be mentally, physically, and emotionally. To find out more, check out our365.me. That's our365.me.
My 365 Podcasts with me, Pete Cohen.
Hi, it's Pete Cohen here. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to share with you 5 podcasts that were taken from a series of live broadcasts that we did on Facebook Live called Fear Busting. This went down so well that we thought the best thing we could do was to make this available to our podcast listeners. So you really have the opportunity to gain some different perspectives on fear and learn some really powerful tips, tools, and techniques to help you be the very, very best that you can be. This is episode 3. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 on fear busting. Day seer. That is where the word decision comes to day seer, to cut yourself off from all other options. And that's what I believe that we need to do in order for us to be the very, very, very best that we can be. How many of you are committed to being the very best that you can be? How many of you get excited about the idea of being the very, very best that you can be? You know, for so many of you, I don't know if you feel like this, but I went to school and I didn't really learn very much at school, to be honest. All I learned, really, if I'm being brutally honest, if that's okay, if you guys don't mind me being brutally honest, I will be brutally honest. I didn't really learn anything at school. In fact, what I did learn, I learned how to feel incredibly insecure, incredibly like there was something wrong with me, huge amounts of fear, worry, anxiety. I learned how to say combien de poissons y a-t-il dans la famille, which means how many fish are there in your family. And as many of you know, that's not really going to get you very far when you're in France, unless you like fish and you want to know how many fish there are in someone's family. Most of what we learn isn't very good, very useful. I also went to university, and I've got a good mind to go back to the university for the 3 degrees that I have and ask for my money back, because much of what I learned really is useful, there you go, I'm dyslexic, KO, is not useful and is wrong. A lot of what I learned actually is wrong when it comes to certain things around psychology, which I studied, and also physiology, around how the body works, because I spent the last 25 years of my life dedicating myself to a cause, and that's the betterment of the human race. I believe in you. I believe in every single one of you, because I know there is a part of you that wants to grow. I know there's a part of you that wants to be better, and our biggest challenge in bettering ourselves is fear. Right now, you have fear inside you. Or actually, what you have is the fear response. You have the ability to be frightened. By the way, if you haven't shared this, please share it. Let's get this information out there into the world. We all know that people need to know this. We all know that people need to wake up and realize there's more to me than meets the eye. In fact, if you could all just do me a favor and actually say that, there's more to me than meets the eye. When you say that, it's like saying yes to yourself as opposed to no. We mentioned this last week. When you say no, how do you feel? When you say yes, how do you feel? These words evoke different emotions in the body. The word yes makes us feel good. Yes to life, not no to life, which many of us are doing. We're saying no to being the very best that we can be because of fear. Fear, in many cases, is false evidence appearing real. If someone is frightened of spiders or something, anything, snakes, false evidence appearing real, because there's no snakes or spiders in the room that they're in, yet they can still elicit the same response. We only need to feel fear, really, in our evolution was because of loud noises and fear of falling. The mechanism is within us. our ancient cavemen ancestors, that part of us, part of the evolution is still there. So we have the ability, if we hear something loud, to go, whoa, there's something going on here, danger, run away or attack. And if we climb up something high, because we used to have to climb often to get things, often maybe even to get away from danger, we could elicit the fear response. I want you today to become aware of how much you elicit the fear response in you. By the way, if you look at fear being the mother of all negative or draining emotions and what comes from that, what does fear give birth to? Worry, fear, doubt, anxiety, anger, sadness, depression. In many, 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 many cases, they all come out of fear. Now, what would your life be if you were fearless? Or what would life, might be a bit crazy. Are you just go and climb something high? I'm completely fearless, and then fall down. Maybe not completely fearless, but be able to say this to yourself. Please write this down, please, because it's very important. Bring it on. Because I want to ask you this. Where is your infinite potential? Where does your potential exist? Does your potential exist here? How many of you think I've already fulfilled all of the potential that I there's no more to me. That's it. There's no more potential. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. Well, how many of you feel the best is yet to come, or you still feel that you can give yourself to the world? In order for you to give your potential, you're going to have to develop yourself. Your development isn't happening right here, right now. We have to get uncomfortable. Getting up at 4 a.m, sometimes for me, is still a little uncomfortable. Start working and reading and meditating and exercising. It's a little uncomfortable sometimes because we try to protect who we are, okay? So this is what you're trying to do. We are trying to protect me. I'm worried, I'm frightened, I'm anxious. This is who I am. I'm going to protect this. I don't want to change. Who would I be without this? And this is the biggest thing that really affects people, is we want to hold on to what we have, even if we don't feel comfortable with it. Maybe you're not like that. Maybe you have now woken up to the fact that your potential exists on you getting uncomfortable. In many cases, doing things that frighten you. If you have a phobia of something, then you might not want to try this, because if you have a phobia, it's probably a really good idea to get some help. So when you think about the thing that you're frightened of, you don't elicit the fear response. I'm talking about things in everyday life that you're frightened of talking to someone that you don't know, frightened of finding out what you might find out about yourself by doing something that you think you couldn't do. The key words are this: bring it on. When you think about something that's difficult, you probably elicit a feeling that isn't comfortable. You have to say to yourself, bring it on. Because on the other side of the fear, the other side of getting uncomfortable, is one of the greatest things that human beings can ever experience. And that is the feeling of, yes, look what I did. Look what I did. Look what I did. I did it. We all want it, but we have to get uncomfortable. And it's whether you want to do that, whether you want to be the very best version of yourself and create the story that one day you can look back and say to yourself, look what I did. Not look what I wished I'd done. Because the clock is ticking, my friends. And when we look at the subject of fear, it is a big subject. It's a big topic. And we could spend more time. I've written a best-selling book on it. So there's a lot that we can cover. But this is something I really wanted to talk to you about today. And it's very, very profound. So the first thing is become aware just of how many times in the day you elicit the fear response. It might be the phone going off. We get an email, a cling, 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 whoa, the doorbell rings. And this fear response is elicited. And if we elicit it too much, we use it too much. It's like insulin. That's why often people become diabetic, because the response of eating so much sugar eventually is the pancreas goes, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. And often if we elicit the fear response too much, we burn out. We get tired. We give up. We have to elicit a different response in us. And that's where mindfulness is so important. And that's why with all of our meditations that are in our elite broadcast of our elite members, is to help them use their mind. Because your mind is a channel. And many of you think that you are your fear. No, you are not your fear. You are more than your fear. And I want to explain something to you. So that's one thing. Just become aware of how many times you elicit that fear response through worries, through fears, through doubts. You might be stimulated to have a feeling. And then when you think of the feeling, the fear comes. And the more you think about it, the more frightened you feel. You don't have to think that thought. You can change your thoughts. And one of the best ways to change your thoughts is to focus on this. One of the biggest reasons why people are frightened is they don't feel they're good enough. We live in a world, you know that, everyone knows that. I'm not quite good enough, but if I had this, I'd feel better. So we want to get things. How many of you want to get something? And the wanting, the getting leads so many people to be frightened, because when they realize they don't have what they want to get, they feel frightened because something is missing. My challenge to all of you around the world is to become someone who starts to give more than ever. For me, the greatest book ever written, Think and Grow Rich, published in 1937, the author, Napoleon Hill, said it best. This is the era of the go-giver, not the go-getter. The go-getter will either end up with a heart attack because they've worked so hard to get the thing that they want, or they'll always feel there's something massively missing and not do it because it just feels too much like hard work. Now, I'm not saying we should go and get things, but you go to the shop to go and give yourself something to eat that's going to give you life and energy. I want you to ask yourself this question: what can you give to the world? How many of you are excited about giving your greatest gifts to the world? And if you don't know what those greatest gifts are, one of the gifts that you have is the gift of being able to love people, take care for people, look after people. Don't focus on what you need to get, my friends. You know, focus on what you need to give. I know it might not be as cut and dry as that, but you know what? I actually think it is. And I know some of you might be going, well, yeah, you know, Pete, well, what can you give? I give things to people all day, every day. I give them a smile. I give you my time because I believe fundamentally in you. And if you go and look, the reason I put a link to our blog on here is go and have a look on the blog post. There's only 6 posts on there at the moment, but go and listen and read other people's stories. You will resonate with those stories because we love a story, right? What do you want the story of your life to be? They were consumed by fear. Or do you want the story to be they experienced fear, they had challenges in their life, but they overcame their challenge, they took on their fear? Bring it on. The time has come for us to rise up and realize you are more than your fear. Say it once again. I'm more than my fear. I'm more than my fear. It's okay to feel normal. Even the greatest runner in the world, Usain Bolt, would experience fear. But the next time you feel fear, realize it's your choice. Alex is out there in Detroit. I'm going to be in Vegas in a few weeks. If anyone wants to come and see me in Vegas, what stays in Vegas is not going to stay there. It's because I'm going to share. I'm going to make a massive difference. I'm just looking at what I've written down here from my notes today. So understand you're not alone in person that thinks they're not good enough or there's something wrong with them. But do you want that to be what defines you in your life? That you look back one day and say, you know what, I was always frightened that I wasn't good enough, or there was something wrong with me. Look, there is something wrong with you. Look at me. Have you seen the size of this? My nose? Have you seen the ear hair, the bald head? I ain't perfect. But what I am, I'm imperfect. But what I am is amazing. Why? Because I can do things. I can create things. I can make a difference. And so can you. So to summarize for today, become aware of how many times that you elicit the fear response in your daily life. Just become aware. How many times do you set it off? How many times does it go off? It goes off a lot. Don't look at it as right or wrong, but realize if you elicit it, how many times does it go off? And if it goes off, how many times do you go really, really deep into the thing that you were worried or frightened about? And maybe even become curious, how could you do something else? How could you stop yourself from feeling the feeling that you're feeling? Everyone can do it. Everyone has that ability. You know it. I know it. Let's do something about it. The time isn't now. It's right now. And also what I'm asking you to do is ask yourself, what can I give the world? People are frightened because they feel they have to go and get something that you haven't got right now. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get things. But the thing that you need to do more than ever is realize, what do I need to give to the world? And often what we need to give to the world is a better version of ourselves. So that's why if we're happy, healthy, and the best that we can be, life is amazing. I hope this has rocked your world. Sharing this with you has definitely rocked my world, because I know it's going to make a huge difference to so many of you. I believe in you so much. I know I keep saying it. Happy, beautiful day. Put your hands on your chest and realize it's time for me to be the go-giver in my life. Give my greatest gifts and talents to the world. Thank you for watching. Love to you all. If you haven't shared this, please share it. If you go to our blog, my365.me/blog. If you read something on there and it inspires you, make a comment, share it with the world. Let other people read great stories as we go about creating your better story. Have an amazing day. Much love.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and if you want more free inspiration to optimize your life so you can achieve your goals in all the different areas of your life, then visit my365.me. That's mi365.me, and sign up to 365 days of free coaching with me, Pete Cohen. Thanks for listening, and have an awesome day.